The sign speaks for itself, but I don't believe this bridge is actually Pegasus Bridge. We're informed that, well, my tour guide tells me this is not Pegasus Bridge, this is Horsa Bridge, but I think it's Pegasus Bridge is synonymous with the whole site, so that's why it's referred to as a generic term. Pegasus Bridge is next. So this is Horsa Bridge, and you can see how busy it is. It's crowded. It's actually D-Day. It's early afternoon of 6th of June. We were a bit late up today because we were up till 2 o'clock yesterday morning, and what we were in fact up to was we visited, you'll have seen elsewhere on this film, that we were, Joe and I were at Pegasus Bridge, the replacement Pegasus Bridge from the original, and we were joining in the celebrations there. It was quite cold, but everybody was very jovial and convivial, and the thing about it was that it was meant to mark approximately 11:15 midnight local time, which was 11:15 in the UK. 11:15 local time was when the gliders landed. We were on the spot of where the gliders were. There was a massive firework display which lasted for roughly, there's Joe just coming up from down below the bridge, and yeah, there was a massive firework display, and that was meant to simulate the duration of the 20-minute assault on the bridge. And Major Howard's command took the bridge, and this bridge that I just walked over, which is Horsa Bridge, was taken by an officer whose surname was Poet, apparently. That's according to what Joe informed me. A lot of my information comes from Joe because this is not my specialist period. My specialist period is other things, including World War I. But this is Joe's. Joe is our resident specialist. We're on our way right now to the Pegasus Bridge Museum because Joe's got some special, relatively unique papers which he came by through a contact in the parachute regiment who had a friend who'd served in discrete formations. He was a SAS man who'd served during World War II. And he was able to supply from archives and records the orders, the top secret orders that were given to, the instructions given to Major Howard, who took the bridge, and this was issued in about April 1944, and Major Howard from that had to form his plans for the storming of the bridge, but also for the defence of it, for the inevitable German counterattack, which was warned to be within an hour of arrival, or with taking of the bridge. And just wait until the lorry went past. And the point about that was he's also drawn up sketch maps of his defence of the bridge. So it's a very, very important document because it's part of the history. It's not the original document, but it's a copy, an exact copy, a photocopy of the original document. So Joe's going to go in to see the curator because our next door neighbours who are visiting like us, the whole week has been full of serendipity, but one bit of serendipity was that we, by pure chance, which is serendipity of course, we happened upon these people next door who are here, and the woman of the couple is the daughter of Major Ward, I believe, who was the intelligence officer for General Gale, who was in the chateau that we've spoken about on this video. And Major Ward had to do recce and recon and form the intelligence that allowed stuff to be organised on the ground at the early hours of D-Day. Anyway, we're all going to the chateau later. Joe's taking in some papers. As some extremely interesting documentary evidence to support the narrative, and all in all, it's been a revelatory week for us all. We've had incredible good fortune to keep meeting people. Purely, as I say, it's all serendipity. So we're on our way now to Pegasus Bridge Museum, and we'll see what happens there. In fact, there is the museum over there. That's the top of it, and we're going into there. Here we are, and Joe is just about to go in. There he is, divesting himself of his thick jumper. It was chilly earlier, but it's now warmed right up. We're inside the museum, and that is pipe band from Belgium. I think there's some Dutch there as well, so Dutch Belgians, and just creating a bit more atmosphere for everybody.
So this is a brand new exhibit. This is a CSM BP McGuinness 1st 6th Parachute Brigade, 22nd Independent Parachute Regiment. So he was a Pathfinder, and he got this medal for bravery on the 9th of June, approximately 1,200 hours. I just met his grandson, who brought this in, say, about half an hour ago, to present to the museum here at Pegasus Bridge. I think it's wishes of his grandfather. So here it is, an amazing feat of bravery by his granddad.
This is the original, a section of the original bridge, the west side of the bridge. Obviously, you know, that's where it joined onto the rest of the bridge. It was an elevating bridge. It just got old and a bit rusty. There was nothing wrong with it. It wasn't damaged or blown up or whatever. And it was abandoned, taken away when they installed the new bridge, which you've seen that we walked over, and therefore it was just left to one side, and an association was formed of British veterans and other people and local French people to decide that they would reclaim this. They did it up, and it's here in the museum when the museum was established. So it's an absolute memorial. So that is the actual bridge that was charged over from that end, because the gliders would have, in relation, not here of course, but in relation to where the gliders would have landed about that far from the bridge, and then the men would have literally charged onto it and taken it from there. That's the new bridge over the river, and you can hear a boat in the background. The reason it's up is boats gone through it. Because it was then, and still is, working docks. Off to the right of this picture is, as I think I mentioned earlier in the video, the port of Wistram, which acts as the port, the ferry port, the cargo port for the city of Caen on the River Orne. So I think the boat's coming through. I'm not sure whether it's a large ship, but it's big enough that it's got to have the bridge up. Boat going through, you can see it. It looks like it's a tug. That's quite atmospheric. That's quite atmospheric. I like that. Splendid. Yeah. That's the tugboat going through. But that will be going up towards the port, out to the estuary of the Orne. But between, you've got the Orne River and the canal. The two bridges, the one here and the one way back down there, they span the canal and the river, which are the two key waterways, because if you're trying to fight across a river and a canal in quick succession, and they're both deep and they're both relatively wide, you've got a major problem. So that's why these two bridges were incredibly important to be captured and held, because German reinforcements from the Pas-de-Calais area, Nord Pas-de-Calais, would have come from that direction, from the east. And that would have been a major thorn in the British side, because any German reinforcements coming in here would have hit the flank of Sword Beach, which is off in that direction. It's not entirely clear, but people walking along there are our next door neighbours, Susan and her partner, and it was Sue's father. The pair of feet on the left are Joe's, because he's gone in and they're going into the barn where Norman Ward was based with his team from D-Day onwards. So Joe's absolutely in his element. There's some other people going up there now, but Joe's absolutely in his element. This is like Christmas for a kid.